CTV family. Catch us live on your TV screens.
Hey man, welcome back to EKSE right here on Cape Town TV, the People's Channel. And as you know, we're taking you up to the hour of 5, serving you nothing but the best dish of entertainment. And remember, we do want to hear from you. All you need to do is to connect with us on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are EKSE Live. On Twitter, we are at EKSE_live. And natuurlijk it is our YouTube, let's say, up and running, where you can find some of your favorite EKSE episodes if you have just missed out. Speaking about episodes and something that you maybe have missed out on, it is an all-African series called My Better World, and it was actually nominated for the Annecy International Animation Film Festival. And a couple of guys, a couple of creatives came together and they rake in like 2 million viewers every week on Kenya Citizen TV, and they are just doing the most. And I know just recently I actually spoke to someone who said that we don't really have much African, animations out there that tells our stories, because if it is that it's American created, because I know someone recently complained about, the Lion King being an African story, but it doesn't have that real type of African feel. But these guys are saying, no, these are our stories, we're gonna own them, and we're gonna then play them out to the world. And joining us on today's call, we do have Chris, Michael, Salome, Juma, as well as Rahma, and they're all joining us to tell us more about the project and how everything actually came about. Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Hello, hello, hello.
We're doing well.
It's so lovely to have you guys calling in from all over the world. And Chris, I just want to know from you, man, how did everything start? How did you guys actually come up with the concept in saying, look, we want to create an all-African animation series, put it out there, and I'm sure the process wasn't an easy one too.
Oh, thank you very much for having us. I'll give you the short history because it's a very long, long story.
Okay.
But
okay.
we had been making my little company, Fundi Films, had been making content for Discovery Learning Alliance, which was originally part of Discovery Channel, and they were making learning content for schools across sub-Saharan Africa. And we had made a few different films for them. And then Michael, who you'll chat to in a second, from Mon Creative in Johannesburg, we did a film for them about children's rights, and Michael and his team did some amazing animation, which I hope he'll talk about. And this film was very successful, mainly with the audience, teaching kids about rights, and it also got a lot of global recognition. Yeah. Off the back of that, Discovery, who are now called Impact Ed, had come across a really incredible curriculum that was teaching young people, young teens, life skills. Yeah. And they said, well, how do we expand this? How do we make it more accessible to everyone? We didn't want to have something that lectured people or, try to force lessons down people's throat. So we developed this idea of this group of friends, this group of 6 friends that have these amazing adventures, and each episode they sort of solve problems or overcome challenges. Yes. And we decided to do that in animation. And then each of these episodes actually has a little documentary in it as well. So wow. It was a combination of Impact Ed coming to us with this curriculum, and then collaborating with Mon Creative to come up with a way of making it accessible and interesting to youth. Because amazingly, it's also done in 4 languages. It's English, Somali, Hausa, which is for northern Nigeria, and Swahili for Kenya and Tanzania. Yeah.
That is absolutely awesome, and it's such a original, organic idea. And it just blew up. And Michael, Michael had the responsibility of the animation and things like that. Michael, talk to us about, you and your team from Man Creatives when it came to, because obviously there was a story to be told, and, for kids or people who's watching it, they need to actually then see that story or visualize it as well. But tell us how your experience was in working with the animation series too.
Yeah, well, I suppose we were very excited because the previous project that Chris talked about child rights went really well. And so we were keen to move on to the next thing, and it was bigger and better and quite daunting because it's 55 episodes with 5 minutes of animation each. It's kind of like 4 feature films worth of animation. It's, you know, it's one of the biggest animated series that's ever been produced in Africa in one time. So it was really, really daunting.
Man.
But yeah, you know, we had a lot of fun. It took a whole year, I think, just to do all the development and kind of coming to a point where we had these 6 characters. You know, just there was a whole process just to kind of figure out who these characters were and what they looked like, and style-wise, how would we treat this, and I think it started to click when we came up with the idea of doing these very flat, very 2-dimensional cutout figures, but against these photographic backgrounds, and that really helped us to work within the very tight budgets that we had. And it also helped to just ground the story in a very real, visceral world, a very believable world, and it gave it a lot of grit and life very quickly. So Chris did a great job of shooting all the backgrounds for us, and then we worked down here in Johannesburg to put all the characters into these backgrounds, and you know, I think focusing on these 6 characters and who they are and their stories was a great approach to this series, rather than focusing on, like, you know, a list of lessons that need to be put across. And yeah, we really came to love these characters over the 3 years that we worked with them.
Wow, man. Speaking about the characters too, Rahma, who voiced the lead role, character of Abi. Rahma, how is it for you actually to be part of the animation series that gets like 2 million viewers every week and things like that? Talk to us about your experience.
Well, at first, I didn't know it would be this big. But I'm happy that it keeps expanding. And I'm just really happy that it's going to be something that already is impacting people, and we're going to do that. But it was overall a very nice experience, very educative for anybody that's doing it.
Wow.
And you wish you were a teenager, you would, you know, solve things the way Abby and her friends would do. Because, you know, when you're a teenager, there's so many things that are a bit confusing. You get angry at one time, you get happy at one time, and you don't know how to deal with all these emotions. But I have to say, Abby and her friends, you know, something might happen, something bad, something to disappoint them a bit, but they always come out on top. They always come up with solutions. They're very optimistic. And I think this is the best way to show African youth.
Yes.
It's okay to go through some issues, but you can solve them, and you can, you know, you come out all right out of it. And that's the most important lesson, you know, to just be optimistic and positive minded all through it.
Wow, that is so awesome. And one thing that I do know, and I actually realized this while I'm watching more movies and animations or anything that really comes on TV, is that sound is very important. You know, it sets that kind of tone. You know, if I'm angry, there's a certain tone playing, there's a certain way I should say something and things like that. And Juma actually had the responsibility of being the sound engineer and composer. How is it for you making sure that if Abi is angry or she's excited or whatever she's feeling, it's actually felt, you know, in a audio type of way too?
Yeah, you know, to work with people you know.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to do that because it's all happened on when you find, I mean, the artist. When you find the characters, we call it casting.
Yeah.
So it all happened in casting. So it was easy for me, and a big challenge was on composing the songs. You know, to make the artists who are not singers to sing, you know.
Wow,
It
man!
was a big
Wow.
challenge.
But it's
Well, that well, I mean,
it's
I
awesome.
think Judas, he's underplaying how talented he is. It was incredible
I
that
can
he got
tell.
all of our cast
I
who
can
weren't
tell.
cast as singers doing so well.
They say the greats are humbled. I want to know from Salome, who is the project director for Kenya, how important is it for Africans to tell an African story from our perspective and to have actual Africans? Because like I mentioned earlier, you know, we have lots of African stories being told by Europeans and Americans and people who are not from Africa. But how is it important for Africans to tell the African story for the African people?
I think in two ways. Basically, because one, when we have, as Rahma said, that this is a series about African youth, African teenagers, learning how to be themselves, learning how to navigate school, friendship, family, and challenges that they go through. Telling it from their own eyes, coming up with solutions that relate very well to them is something that is really important to them, so that the solutions are not being sort of forced on them. It's not an ideology that you're trying to force on the children. And having worked in schools, the project works in schools. MBW hit the schools before it hit TV. So having worked in schools, this is a program for children in school to be able to see that they can actually overcome and develop their own solutions to challenges that they are facing. Giving them a voice to articulate their own issues was very important. So it's really, really important that if it is a program designed to help children come up, or youth come up with solutions for their own problems, it should be a context-based program where the same youth feel we are the ones actually playing in these episodes. We are the ones facing these challenges, and we have now actually come up with a solution for our own challenges. So that's really important.
Wow. I absolutely love it. And I want to know, how does it actually feel to be the only fully African produced project to actually be nominated for one of the highest profile animation events, the Annecy International Animation Film. Chris, tell us about that. Because obviously you start a project saying we want to be recognized for the efforts and the hard work that we put in, but now you're actually being recognized at one of the highest profile animation events. What was the feels? What is the thoughts? Speak to us.
I mean, it was absolutely incredible to be nominated for Annecy is a huge honor. I mean, it's like the Oscars of the animation world. So to have the work of all of our wonderful sort of Pan-African team recognized in this way is huge. And what, to come back to what a couple of people have mentioned, when our writing team, who was South African, Kenyan, Tanzanian, and Rwandan, when we actually started writing the stories, we didn't just write them from our perspective. We went and we spent a week in Tanzania, a week in Kenya, a week in Nigeria, actually listening to young people. And we wanted to reflect their experience back at them, and then to now have it brought to life in this animation, and similarly with the documentaries, enhancing the content. To be recognized on this platform is just massive. But as one of Andrew Whaley, who's a Cape Town-based writer, who was our head writer, said, the best recognition is actually that the viewers are loving it. The awards are great and the accolades are great, but that people are tuning in is awesome.
I love that. We are running out of time, but I just want to know real quick from you, because I do know that it's playing on Kenya Citizen TV. Where else can we find it? Can we go on YouTube as well for people who want to watch it, who are overseas or whatever the case may be, or in South Africa even?
So I can update a little bit on that. We were very excited that as of this Saturday, we will begin broadcasting in Nigeria on the Hausa Arewa TV, which covers Chad, Cameroon, Northern Nigeria, so viewership of around 80 million people. That'll be in the Hausa language. And I understand that Ghana is next in line. South Africa doesn't have a broadcast deal in place yet.
Oh, no.
But because broadcast is still so important in these territories, it will be broadcast first on as far as I understand, on TV, and then it'll be made available online. But maybe Salome wants to talk more to that.
Awesomeness.
So it's available in Kenya, and starting in Nigeria. Actually started in Nigeria on the 4th, and looking forward to launching in Ghana as well. And Chris and team also did an amazing job of adapting it for radio. So it's already broadcasting in Kenya, in Somali, in Kiswahili, and in English across radio, in a bid to reach the most underserved communities, and also with the COVID closure of schools.
Yes.
So just ensuring that the kids can actually access it both on TV and radio at home. It's really important. We are looking forward to more discussions across, with more networks to see how this amazing product can impact the youth, the young, across more countries. Yes.
Wow, I love that, and I am super, super proud to be African. My Better World All-African series, thank you so much to Chris, Michael, Rahma, and Juma, as well as Salome, for joining us today from all over the world, or all over Africa, rather, because we are all proudly African. And I do want to thank you guys so much for being the creative team and putting in the hard work and effort for telling truly unique and original African stories for Africans, by Africans. I truly love it. And I do want to thank you on behalf of Africa for doing the amazing things you do. Thank you so, so much for joining us. And obviously you guys at home, if you do want to know more, you can obviously hop onto Google. And if you are in the countries where it is actually being aired, do make sure to not miss it. And you can find it on the social media pages. We do get the details from them. We will put it on our pages. But yeah, man, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you guys, and we hope to have you back on Cape Town TV one more time. Hopefully the next time we see you, we're talking about it's airing in South Africa and airing in more countries.
Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having us. And as you say, it's if you want to catch up with us, My Better World is on all the usual social media channels. And as soon as we get any more broadcast announcements or online announcements, it'll be there. But thank you. It's such an honor to be on your show.
Thank you so much. One more time, All African series, My Better World. You can catch it. We're going to take a quick break. When we do come back, we have lots more for you. Stay tuned.
CTV family, catch us live on your TV screens.